Hey, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to Stonehearth dev stream number 280. This is Allie. I'm the concept artist and illustrator on the team, and today we are going to chip away at something that I'm kind of excited about. It's a little bit of a side quest, but we're going to work on some sketches for some new loading screens, and I've got a little bit of context for that, so I'm sure that seems a little bit left field with everything we've been working on lately. Also, it's been a really long time since I've done a stream with you guys, so it's kind of fun to be back. I had to fix a bunch of bobos. As per usual, the stream machine didn't recognize the tablet in any way, shape, or form, so that was super exciting. And I guess before I go too much into greetings and hellos and hi, how you doings, if anyone cannot hear me, if I'm just like sitting here waving my hands and saying words to nobody, please let me know, or if the music is too loud, and we'll fix that right away. Hello Feral Gerald and Chibi Kuroneko and Windy for Sun. Also, sorry if folks missed the memo about us starting an hour early today. I just blasted an extra message about that just in case. So yeah. But yeah, anyway, let me get this unfamiliar tablet. I'm working with this guy today. It's not really the one that I'm used to. But yeah, so today I wanted to do something related to kind of a side quest. Oh, good morning, Fireworkman Gammon. And, Megashub. Oh yeah, I dyed my hair pink. Hi! Oh my gosh, hi! Woo! Oh, so, Kinizuki is a friend of mine. Oh my gosh! I can't believe you're here. Wow, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna lose composure. Alright, anyway. Sarandaries and Sweetcraft MC, hi, welcome to the stream. Oh my gosh, oh, it's so nice to see you. Hi. Gosh, anyway, so to kind of describe what we're doing and why this screen says hello on this oh so familiar piece of parchment back here is because lately, among other things, we've been doing like a bunch of little fixes and tweaks and edits here and there. One of which you may or may not have noticed is now when you fuss with the size of the window that you play Stonehearth is on the title screen, there are no more black bars on the side. So the parchment pattern behind, let me see if I can just pull up an example real quick so I'm not just describing a bunch of weirdness. This is my animator pencil thing that I like. Okay, so this is one of our loading screens. Surely, if you play the game, you will recognize this. Our lovely rabbit people. So this guy, if you're playing in like the, oh no, that's the dev environment, never mind. Anyway, listen to me. So when you resize the title screen now, you're not going to get black bars anywhere. We made it so that the parchment in the background repeats, and that means the image on the front has been made transparent. So what I've been doing lately is going through with our loading screens and basically popping them out of the background. And these are images that have been around for a long time, which means their original working files are lost to time. Which is upsetting, believe you me, because this means when it's time to do this, I'm gonna like do a live demo for you of what this is like, but don't worry, we're not gonna spend a lot of time on this, just so you get a feel for this. But basically what this means is, when we have to do this, let me see what we're doing here. Duplicate that, drop that down there. Like, I get to go in there because we don't have the old files that these are based off of where they're already separated out. And I get in there with my layer mask here and I just like, yep, I'm just gonna erase or like a little border around these guys so I can pop them out. That way we can put them on a repeating background and they can float around and look cool and you don't have to worry about black bars mucking up your screens. Oh! Hi Mr. Silent Coke, sorry, and Sarandaries, yes, loading screens, and yes, and hello again, Kini. I'm so glad you could make it. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this. I'm trying not to ignore the comments too much and actually provide context for what we're doing today that doesn't sound like nuts. Words is not my strong suit. I draw pictures, right? But anyway, So originally, when it was like, oh, we're going to do a stream on Thursday, I thought, hey, this is a nice bite-sized thing that we can get on the stream and do together and, like, catch up and talk about art. Just one problem, this is super boring. So what I thought we would do instead is actually jam on some new sketches for new loading screens. Since, again, these have been around for a really long time, some of them are more representative of concepts that exist within the world of Stonehearth, like rabbit people and the magma smith. So things that haven't made their way into the game just yet, which is not to say that they may never will. But what I thought would be cool is, because we have this kind of thing going on with like the bare parchment and this like this sketchy, almost like studies quality to it. But to kind of like expand on this idea and bring in a couple of new images for loading screens, I thought what might be fun is to take sort of a sketches as though you are exploring the world, as though the Hearthlings have made these. Coasters Paul, yes, actually, I miss the weekly art stream so much. Like, I'm listening to myself talk right now, just like, I'm so rusty and but like, yeah, I really miss getting on here Wednesday mornings and jamming with you guys. That was the best. And so this is, I'm hoping, like, going to be super fun for everybody, because like before we would like get on here and throw ideas around, it would be super cool. But anyway, so what I wanted to do for the theme of the new loading screens is create some sketches of like things in the world or encounters in the world as though we were the Hearthlings, like getting to these places for the first time as settlers and pioneers exploring this place. Whether these would be like field sketches of like your first encounter with a Varanus, so it would be like studies from different angles and like little notes taken by them, or even like a deconstructed explorer's kit that shows like tools that you would need, like your mining pick and stuff like that. So continuing with this idea of like this kind of loose sketches on the parchment, because when I think of like being in the Hearthling's shoes and getting to this place, and when I look at that with the relationship of these screens that we see in between everything, I feel like that there's an opportunity here to do a little role-playing, a little bit of like playing pretend, and kind of setting up like a context for that also makes you feel like, oh, these are serving a purpose, these exist as some kind of abstract artifact in the world. Oh, that would be cool. So Feral Gerald is saying, I just thought a scene where the Hearthlings cut some trees to find a bunny statue would be cool. So yeah, that would actually be a pretty cool subject. So I'm gonna open up another layer. We'll just call it Sketch 2. How imaginative. Just trying to make sure I'm not losing anybody in the comments. If I'm a little slow going back and forth, please forgive me. It has been a while since I've done this, and I know that once we get to like sketching away, like when we're throwing ideas around, I don't want to forget anybody. Hey, that's on another layer. Awesome. That's fun. I don't want it to be. You know what? It's fine. This is just gonna be like our little tag-along buddy right now. But anyway. So yeah, I think a rabbit statue, from what Feral Gerald was saying, would be an awesome thing to do for one of these. Whether it's a scene of like Hearthlings coming to that grove and discovering it for the first time, or even just like field studies of a rabbit statue from the perspective of Hearthlings like making notes of it and documenting the things that they find in their world. So essentially, these types of loading screens would be that kind of fun evidence. Oh man, it's Moobot. Oh, see you in a bit then, Coasters Paul. Whenever I draw the rabbit statues, they always come out very, very soft. Like, I know like in the game they kind of have like this strange like monolithic gummy bear look to it, where they feel very much like this, and they may have like some cracks on them. But whenever I draw them, they always wind up looking like very serene. I think if they looked like this in the game, you'd feel really bad about cutting them up into stone and making your houses out of them. Or maybe you would like want to, because the stone would then be imbued with, like, powers of, like, peace and chill. But I bet your house would be, like, 200% haunted by bunny ghosts at that point. Oh, it's good to see you again, Moobot. Good to see that you're still telling everybody about Steam Early Access. Some things never change. Been sketching away on terrain studies all day, so it's kind of fun to be working on things that are slightly more character-based. And I know the rabbit statue is still technically terrain stuff. Let's see. No! Hang in there, the sulfite! You will make it past the ad someday. Oh dear. Hey, 8-Bit Crab, nice to see you. Alright. So if we were making studies of a rabbit statue, aside from obviously like just drawing it for what it is, what do you suppose would be things that we would want to capture about it? I am noticing you, Mr. Silent Cookie. Oh no. Alright, so like a materials reference, it's made out of stone, but this doesn't really look like stone yet. It just kind of looks like a lump. To be fair, that is what it looks like in the game. Little bunnies, oh my gosh! Yes, like a comparison, like either a comparison to the bunnies or like rabbits interacting with it. Have I ever, okay, I think actually the only time I've ever drawn a rabbit for Stonehearth, it looked like this. It was like a block. This was the very first loading screen I ever worked on. Like the first art that I ever made for the game was, I think, the loading screen for Alpha 11. I probably have that wrong. But anyway, there was it was of a hearthling carrying a box just like towering with, or I'm sorry, a crate towering with carrots. And there was this this one little rabbit in the background that just looked like this. Hey, welcome back, Coasters Paul. Alright, now these sketches are going to be a little loose and fast for now. So the idea is we're going to take down some ideas and we're gonna work them to completion, probably off the stream because that would take a very long time. But what I wanted to do is brainstorm with you guys. I wonder if the Hearthlings would, like, if the things that they would sketch would all be blocky like this. It's kind of fun to think about. Because our rabbits, like, when you think about how abstract some of the things in the game look, the rabbits are actually, I mean, they're cartoony, but they're kind of realistic. And I haven't really figured out how to abbreviate them just yet. Like, with Hearthlings, for instance, it's gotten to where when I try to draw a Hearthling, it's like, oh, right, I gotta start with kind of a big head, and then, like, a teardrop shape for the body, and the legs are about here-ish, and then, like, the arms, because they work with their hands, there's a lot of emphasis on the hands, they have very big hands. And then to position their eyes, I usually start with lines. And these are the general proportions, and this is just, like, what's emerged over however many times that I've drawn them. But when it comes to the animals, like, I don't really have a system for it just yet. So you can see I'm trying to evoke kind of the same shapes in here, where they're like kind of like inverted triangles and things end in kind of like blocky, like they terminate in like blocky edges. They don't like just they don't just curve or point. The sulfite, we are brainstorming ideas for new loading screens, and the idea behind these loading screens is using subjects that have been captured as though Hearthlings are exploring and doing field sketches of things that they're encountering in their environment for the first time. So in this idea, these would be studies of a rabbit statue, and so far we've had the idea of like having like a side piece about like materials that it's made out of, so it would be like stone, or maybe it'll say this in like Hearthling speak, which I don't know what their language looks like just yet. We haven't really thought of that. That looks kind of weird and mathematical. And we had the suggestion of like showing it surrounded by bunnies, like either paying their respects or just being rabbits and staring at it. Who knows? The mysterious workings of rabbit kind. Yay, welcome Beowulf Validus. Rabbit Mason actually crafting the statues. Oh, that would be fun. Because of course, you can imagine how weird that would be, like getting to an uninhabited space and then finding these just like enormous records of a past civilization, maybe. Like, what would you think of that? Would you imagine that there were beings that came before you who were either like rabbit worshippers like you, maybe? You might have seen goblins by this time, so you know that there are things in this world that aren't Hearthlings. So would it be so far-fetched to think that there might actually have been like a lost race of rabbit people? Or maybe not lost. Maybe they're still there. This looks like a lollipop and not in any way like a hammer. We're doing it right, guys. The difference is the hammer's probably not delicious. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but... Delta 5 is suggesting you could build off of the other bunny background, add more of them interacting with the statue. Oh, you're right, we could actually, like, oh, you know what, funny, I've actually separated her out. Dum-dum-dum. Why did I close it? That was dumb. Move this over here. Local bird ruins everything. Nope, that's concept art. We are looking for the loading screens. Which one is it? That's the engineer, geomancer, rock dude. This one. Got it. Give me just a second, because I like that idea. If these are becoming collections of things. Oh, well, you're huge. Like, who's to say that you wouldn't see, like, a sketch of that? I'll have to think of some nice way of organizing these so that they're not just a splash of objects. Like, there should be notes as though they were taken like journals, or actually documented within a journal. Excuse me. Oh, I like that. Having only half of it chipped out of a second statue from a stone block. That would actually make more sense than showing like this little pile of rubble here. I'm gonna get rid of the demented gummy bear. Minimize this over here so I can still see what's going on. We'll spend a little more time collecting some ideas about rabbit statues, and then we'll see if we can't switch to another one. So, how would this look? I'm thinking about this like a 3D object. So like they've begun kind of chiseling this rabbit form out of this stone, and maybe there's like a chalk drawing on the front of it. The sulfite rabbit statues already exist in the game. And they look like the gummy bear that I just erased. Various different types of large statues, though, that's a really good question. We've still got a lot of work to do in terms of, like, defining the lore that kind of comes with the world. But rabbit statues have been a part of it probably since the beginning. I wasn't here at the very, very beginning of time with Stonehearth. But it seems for as long as I've been here, at least. Like maybe some like marks here, and then there'd be like some stone on the ground. And then maybe we'd even have like a ladder with the figure like up here actually chiseling it away. Like swinging the hammer back. Oh, rabbit people. I see. Now that's another good question. I feel like the intention is yes, but we're a very far... I feel like we're not close to being able to prioritize ambient encounters on that level just yet. So sadly, it may be a while yet before we see anything in the world that isn't just like a monster encounter type thing. I hope so though. Like I want the world that Stonehearth exists in to feel like lush and lively and full of various kinds of communities. I think it would make it feel much more like an adventure in a world that that kind of actually exists and isn't just there at your convenience. But yeah, it'd be a while before. So right now, what we're really locking in on is kind of big picture items. Just how do we make the game work better and feel better and just do better? And once we have enough of the big picture items answered, that's when we'll be able to go back into finer detail. This has got to be like a chalk drawing. I'm getting distracted. Hang on. Like, let's go ahead and drop that opacity down. Not 450%. I don't even think Photoshop can do that. There we go. That would be kind of cute. I actually really like this little illustration. This would be really fun to actually finish. Like, do a little shadow here. Oh, I'm still at 40% opacity. I always forget. Different trees would feel really nice. In particular, once we have things like more nailed down and more in a place where we do want to like start adding content without the fear of it changing shape, like I would love the different biomes to feel more specific along those lines. The Sim 3DT says, I'm trying to learn how to draw digitally, but I can't seem to get it working properly. Oh no! Have you just started using a tablet? Feral Gerald just imagined a rabbit pirate. What am I thinking? Awesome things, maybe? That could be awesome. Were there seafaring rabbits? Let me put a crack in that stone. Well, it doesn't look very good just yet. Okay, I'm definitely getting too precious with this already. You guys have suggested something that I like quite a lot. A stone rabbit pirate. Wait, we can do this. It just needs an eye patch. It's the biggest, most impractical eye patch ever. I can imagine that one of the village youngins like ran over with the rabbit civilization equivalent of a magic marker, probably a kind of burnt stick, and just drew an eye patch over it and maybe a mustache. Oh, that just looks like a kitty face. Okay, now it's cute. So the Sims 3DT bought a Wacom Intuos Pro, but you're pretty sure you're using it wrong. That's actually the one that I'm using right now. I've never used this one before. Mine's a lot older, but it was being crabby today, and I couldn't get it to respond. So it seems like it's doing okay. Are you having issues with the settings, maybe? Yeah, so far I've been enjoying this one. Cool. All right. I feel like we've got a lot of we've got things on different layers. Oh, I did that, didn't I? Okay, so we've got a lot of different things that I think we could arrange these to feel like journal pages, and that would be like really cool. So like different pieces of like notes and torn up scraps of things. That way it has kind of a tactile feeling to it. And that could be really fun. Like notes, things that they would circle and highlight. Parchments, exactly. Yeah, so it's going to... Oh, Paint Shop Pro. Okay, so I only used Paint Shop Pro for a little while many years ago, so I probably won't be able to give you any solid tips for what might be bugging you, but chances are if you've just started using a tablet, you're still kind of in the adjusting phase. As long as you've got pressure sensitivity and those things are responding mechanically, like in the programs, unfortunately, like, yeah, it's just a matter of forcing yourself to use it and getting the hang of it. It took me, when I first started using a tablet, it took me 2 weeks to quit reaching for the mouse to color things, much less draw things. I didn't draw with the mouse, I would just draw with pencil. And I still prefer to draw with pencil. Like, when I get in there with a tablet, it's just like, I feel like I'm missing the toothiness of the page and like the expression of the tip of the pencil, or like when you're using a big like 0.9 mechanical pencil, you can like over the course of drawing you kind of like shape the tip and you can start creating like really interesting types of marks. Like, I miss that. The brush that I'm using for this kind of helps a little bit with that. It's I don't know if you've ever heard of Kyle T. Webster, but he does amazing brushes. You should definitely Google them. And give those a gander. They are absolutely worth it. This one is Kyle's Drawing Box Animator Pencil, and I love it. I use it all the time for digital sketching. It's very comfortable. I will type his name. Oh, you should remove the eye patch before it ends up in the patch. Either that, or we're gonna add a... Okay, this is the last thing, and then we're gonna move on to another subject, guys. Either that, or we're gonna add, like, a little rabbit vandal, like, running away with a marker. And he's got an accomplice. And this guy over here, like, has no idea. He's just singing a little song while he's working. And now it tells a story. I like that. Okay. Oh! I misspelled it. It's Webster, you're right. Thank you for catching that. Cool, so we've got a bunch of studies for rabbit stature related sketches. Or maybe it's the other, we've got a bunch of sketches for rabbit statue related studies. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't even know. Okay, so what else would we feel the need to document if we are going through embarkation and experiencing either the forest or the desert for the very first time? Assuming then that wherever we've hailed from, these things that we are seeing are new to us. Oh, the sulfite is attached to the eye patch. Well, let's hide it before we get too much more. I'm gonna name that layer Bunny Studies. The Sims 3DT is asking, so yeah, again, we want to figure out the next thing that we want to draw, but The Sims is also asking, maybe a ruined gate at the beginning of the Rabbit Citadel. Let's move on from rabbits for now. We will expand indefinitely on rabbits if we are given the opportunity of, or maybe just me because I love them. One more question about learning to draw with a tablet. The Sims 3DT is asking, what do you recommend to start out drawing? I'm finding circles a little awkward to draw, but that's just me getting used to it. I would honestly recommend, honestly, with anything else, find a subject that you're interested in drawing and just go for it. Like, you can just practice with exercises, but you're gonna feel far less inclined to actually push these things. They're not a bad idea just to kind of get used to the whole hand-eye coordination disparity. You know, you're not looking down anymore, but you're gonna be a lot more engaged with what you're doing if you're actually drawing something that you care to draw. It'll feel less like a chore. Also, whatever that is, it's going to contain elements that you need to be practicing anyway. But Honestly, especially when it's something that has the capacity to be kind of painful, like learning a new medium. I did this with learning to paint with gouache, actually. I never liked the stuff. It's gross, it's funky, it smells weird, and using it was a pain. So whenever I used it, I tried to use it to create things that I cared about. That way I would focus on like the joy of making this thing that I wanted to see, and less about how awkward it was to use the medium. And I think the same holds true, like, no matter what it is you're learning. If you're focusing on the pain of adjusting, you're not gonna want to keep doing it. So yeah. Let's see. Sarandaries is saying, so Raya's children have specific materials that they work with, and their gods focus on commerce, whereas the Ascendancy tends to have a different focus. Would bunnies have their own focus? Probably. And perhaps we could go into the mercantile focus of Raya's children, the thing that the Ascendancy focused on for the Ascendancy. That's true, we could do something like that. Oh, and glad I could help. I hope it helps. A ruined gateway is a good idea for something discoverable in the world, Delta 5. Or maybe even, like, the necromancers, the mausoleum. Oh, what's it called? I can't think of the word right now. That would be a really gloomy sketch, though. I like that idea, though, of focusing on specific tools or specific aspects of a culture. Like, doing one of those for the Ascendancy and doing one of those for Raya's children could be really neat. Blueprints for the turnip shooter. Engineer blueprints. Absolutely. That would be amazing. Because we already have the engineer, too. We could even build onto that. Ooh, that was magical. It was a ghost. I am convinced. SNRC cultural stuffs. And a compass. That would be fun. Orcs is asking, hey, at Stonehearth, haven't been around for a long time. How's development going? Pretty cool, actually. We've been doing a lot of stuff. If you check out our latest Desktop Tuesday, it was about adjustments that we are fussing with. I'm sorry, I just drew a colossal blank. Wow, how embarrassing. I am clearly thinking about too many things. To building. Amazing. Ugh. Definitely needed on engineer blueprints. That would be really cool. Wildlife studies of various creatures, bird, beasts, and the like. No Meme here is asking, are we adding more bosses? Not yet, and maybe not soon. Again, the things that we're focusing right now is making the game work better. In the ways that it already exists. Before we start heaping lots of cool content in, we want to get in there and make sure things like building is doing okay, and that gameplay is actually being a game and not just, you know, a list of things to do. So when will Mer Burlyhands plus Rabbit People Kingdom Battle be announced at E3, Coasters Paul? Goodness, how did you find out about our secret prototype? Everything is ruined. Infrastructure. Yeah, exactly. Crypt. And yeah, as Syspam is saying, a solid base, like making sure that the game foundationally works very well, will mean we can add things with confidence going forward without worrying about whether or not it, like, continues to work in the space. But yeah. Why did I write bird? I mean, I always like birds. See, this is what happens when I start talking to you guys and I'm drawing at the same time. I'm just not that great at multitasking. So I'm just gonna draw my bird. This is Chuck. He's a green cheek conure. And he looks exactly like this. Oh, right, creatures, like studies of creatures in the worlds. Totem bird. Totem Pollo. Yes. Ren is asking, are we going to add more jobs or more crafts, or we have to got some mods? More jobs in the short near term, probably not. More crafts, also maybe not, but making crafts do more is kind of part of the package of like making sure that the base game works better before we start adding stuff. Before we started going into this exploratory bit, my Wednesday streams, sometimes we would work on new craftables, and a lot of those things still aren't even in the game because we wound up switching focus from like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if in Raya's Children the Weaver had more stuff, since it's so hard to get a carpenter and to like make things out of wood. Like, we would have like woven shop signs and more rugs, or like more types of window frames for the buildings. But that sort of thing was very like surface level content, and it felt really good. But what we're doing right now is focusing our attention on things that'll overall have more impact and make more sense later on down the line. Suddenly burbs. Yes! Suddenly birds all the time. Anyway, now that Chuck is here, I am thoroughly distracted. So, I think we've got some cool ideas. Engineer blueprints. I am a huge fan of the turnip shooter. I know some people fussed about how silly that was, but it's, come on, it's the Ascendancy. They would totally throw their vegetables at goblins. Though the goblins would probably just think they were getting food, so I don't really know how well that would work. Items that specifically relate to the Ascendancy and Raya's Children, I think that's a really good idea. Each of those could probably be its own screen, along with things like their workers' outfits. Let's try and do one for Raya's Children. Unless we want to do studies of creatures in the world, which is always my favorite. The Sylphite is asking, when will Chuck get in the game? And I personally think that should probably be like the next alpha, honestly. I mean, let's be real here. We clearly need to get our priorities in order. Oh wait, we don't need to draw ahead. And Sarandaries is saying we could also include their faith, since there is some background there. Oh, that's true. With Raya's Children in particular, there is a little bit of lore about grandmother Raya and kind of a bit of favoritism with Monkey. This is kind of hard to draw an outfit without thinking of the Hearthlings themselves. I always imagine that the Raya's Children outfits, they wouldn't have sleeves. And definitely more emphasis on things that are shiny, like gold bangles. Maybe even like do an up-close drawing of one of these that shows, like, obviously we wouldn't be able to see these in game because of like our resolution and just the size of everything, but that could like even like show like a certain kind of engraving, maybe even like a little monkey on it. That looks like a mouse, not a monkey. Oh geez. Well, for now we'll just draw some stuff. So, adornments. Draw a child's storybook of the tales. Oh, that is so close to home. Before I worked on Stonehearth, I worked on comics and children's books, and it's something that I think is never going to leave me. The minute I have the opportunity to do anything along those lines in Stonehearth, you know that's gonna happen. Or heck, even on the side. I might think about that, the Sims 3DT, but probably not on stream. This is Stonehearth time. Let's see. So like an outfit, some sandals. I don't know if we'd want to show them like in like a shadowed person behind it, or maybe even like having those pieces laid out flat would make more sense. I don't know, what do you guys think? When you have like the belt and like the belt buckle. Oh, sorry, my phone is vibrating. Like maybe it would make more sense to actually like array these things out. And then for like the bracelets, then you would like have it zoomed in over here so you could see like a detail shot. I don't know. I kind of like that idea, but I'll see what you guys think. if you draw the outfit flat first, it might be easier to draw it on them later. You know, it kind of, it's a little give and take along those ideas. Sometimes when concepting what a thing should look like, it helps for me to think of it in like just a series of like shapes so I can focus on like what the main statements are, and then I kind of work out the details as I go. Anytime I do any kind of character design, in fact, like what you'll see first is just like page after page of throwaway sketches, like even scribblier than this, like by a long shot, that's just like negotiating those big moments. And then working down to the details. That way it doesn't become, that way the design doesn't just become a pile of cool things. There's like a clear read of what you should be focusing on in the themes. But yeah, I think in the long term, what we would be doing with these is creating, like what the Sims 3DT is mentioning, kind of a style bible of how these things should look. You have like their sandals. Of course, these are going to look way cooler when they are done and not like sticks. At least 70 awesome bracelets. So shiny. Like if we showed an earring, then maybe we could like do like a quick sketch of somebody's head that shows them wearing the earring in some fashion. I do love that in Raya's Children you have the head tattoos. And this would be like kind of like rough painted in. A page full of concepts of their crafting style, all on one page and more showing what type of clothing they wear. Yeah, absolutely. Also, we could probably like lay out designs for the head tattoos. I'd feel bad about drawing a lot of these because I don't think we have a ton of them that appear in game. But again, we have the opportunity to kind of play around in made-up space with something like this. And what we're doing right now is filling up a page with things that are specifically culturally indicative of Raya's Children, so there would probably be something about like their patterns and their glyphs. How about Monkey showing Raya's Children something and a Raya child having a light bulb on top of their head? Oh, that's a good idea, Wendy. And that gets at their folk legends. Oh, that's a weak pose. What do people do when they go, aha? Or maybe to show them thinking. I sculpted a little monkey for the I can't think of the word. It's not a fountain in Raya's Children. They're little coal-burning statues. The monuments for getting to Tier 2. There's a little monkey on one of those, and he's got a key on his tail. So this like shows a little bit about their relationship with Monkey and their culture. Maybe have him praying. Oh yeah, so like maybe somebody bowing their head in deference. I'm like blanking on other Raya's Children's hairdos right now. Other than everyone is bald forever because it's cool. Head tattoos for days. Like monks. Monks for Monkey. Meditating. Oh, that could be fun, like meditation poses. I don't think that's a hairdo in game. I'm gonna move that tail a little bit so we can get everybody in kind of close. Let's see. Make it a hairdo in game. Oh, see you later, The Sims. Oh, you're not leaving. Feral Gerald is going. Okay, see you later, Feral Gerald. Thanks for coming. Let's see. Sorry, I read too fast. Okay. I don't think we're gonna need this if we're gonna go ahead and show the stuff laid out. So, craft-wise, I think Raya's Children... Okay, I don't... For sure, Raya's Children relies more on pottery and woven goods. So showing a variety of earthenware, I think would be really good. Delicious breakable pots. Me too, it's been a while. Oh, showing a clay furnace, a kiln, that'd be a great idea. I really like the shape of the kiln in game. It's a really satisfying object. Also, the coals underneath, I don't know what it is, it's very soothing. So like showing a kiln and a pottery wheel. Try putting a, okay, The Sim says, try putting a spiraling pattern on the pot. Yes, that'd be cool. I heard once that this pattern isn't always something that means clouds. It can also mean kind of darker things. I guess it can be a little bit unsettling, but I'm a big fan. Although I wonder if they would use like sinuous curling shapes like this, or if their patterns would be like, I kind of feel like their patterns would be a bit more like the American Southwest. So like you have these kind of blockier shapes. In fact, I believe this almost looks like it spells something, but it does not. Hey, let's see. It can be a rain jar for collecting water. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, more Native American than Eastern, for sure. So we'll just leave it at that for now. I'd want to do some research and pad this out. Oh, Chuck, you are beautiful, but you're getting in the way. Put you over here somewhere. Oh, let's have a look. Ooh. Yeah, a little bit. things over here. I think I can erase this. We don't need those notes anymore. So lore studies, crafting, attire. Awesome. More blocky though, yes, as is the Stonehearth way. Oh yeah, you'll have to let me know how you like them, The Sims. I really enjoy it. Like, it's probably the most natural digital pencil that I've used so far. Alright, what else would be... what else? Oh yeah, like weaver's stuff. Rugs. A spinning wheel. Tapestries. Have to think of a way of showing that in a way that isn't too bland. I'm gonna have a fun time trying to organize this into a good composition, but we've got a lot of really fun stuff here. I think the way to go is going to be many pieces of parchment, like laying on top of each other. Like, that'll have kind of like that busyness and excitement to it that I think would be really thematically accurate for somebody who's like exploring the world and documenting it for the first time. Yes, The Sims 3D. It's the animator pencil. Oh, an image of their homes would be really cool. That's right, because they each have a different style of house. And in Raya's Children, they have the little adobe homes, which are so cute. Just like that. Put like a little pot outside of it. But yeah. Alright, this is a lot to go on. Now we're gonna have to do one for the Ascendancy that's gonna be just as cool. And I think there's gonna be a few things to discover along the way here as well. The Sims, I am not sure if it will now that I think about it. Flowers and cacti, Sarandaries, that's a really good idea. I'll do some sketches of those really quick, but sadly we are just about all out of time today. But I tell you what I'll do is, as I develop these sketches, I will put them up on the Stonehearth Discourse so you guys can track their progress and continue to fill in on more details as it's really hard to talk and do this at the same time. Wow, how did we used to do this every week? And continue to fill in on like things that we might add to it. Since we don't have regular streams anymore, and I feel bad about like, hey, let's do all of these things, and now you're not gonna see it until it's done. Like, I feel like we started this, so we should take the time and actually see some of it through. Oh, sorry, Coasters Paul. Yeah, we are wrapping it up, but like I just said, I will make the progress on these public, since you guys were here for the start of it. I think you guys should see how they evolve. It may be a little bit, so again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, new loading screens is kind of a side quest. They're not the highest priority thing on my list of things to do lately, but I think they're important. Also, it is really fun to actually like be collaborating with all of you again. And stuff like this I think is like thematically cool and actually starts to like flesh in and tell stories. Yes I am, Kinizuki. And yeah, so that'll be that for this week's stream. Thanks everybody for coming in and sharing ideas. Let's review really quick what we've made. So just to recap, we're working on ideas for new loading screens for Stonehearth that capture like sketches and studies, like field studies of the world that the Hearthlings experience as though you are an explorer experiencing them yourself. In this screen, we've been documenting essentially Raya's children with sketches about the things that they wear in particular, the types of houses they build. My bird is not probably going to be part of this illustration. We'll find some use for him later. Stories about their lore and what they believe, and also like what kinds of crafting that they do, in this case pottery and weaving. And at the beginning of the stream we worked on a bunch of oh, this one's so much prettier. Wow, we've already like, oh, this is like organized itself, dang it. We did some sketches about rabbit statues and theories about how they came to be, musings about rabbit people, and even talked about incorporating the original rabbit loading screen. I don't believe we have any intention at the moment of retiring the current loading screens, but I do love the idea of adding some that like have like this storytelling edge to them. Like, I think that's really powerful. And I'm super excited that you guys got to be a part of it and to share some of it. So, oh right, the eye patch, shoot. Well, now it's probably there to stay and people will just wonder about it forever. I'm okay with that if you guys are. We'll see. We'll see if we can get it past the team. So thanks you guys for coming to the stream. It's awesome as always, and I'll see y'all super soon. Have a fantastic the rest of your day or night or morning, wherever you may be. Yeah, and thanks so much.